pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you.
Roll call. Braden. Cheney.
Here.
Fisher.
Here.
Guide. Here. Gilligan.
Here.
Haldeman.
Here.
Jones.
Here.
Overall. Here. Beaver.
Here.
8 present, 1 absent.
Motion to approve the minutes of the regular board meeting of January 12th, 2023.
So moved.
Motion by Ms. Fisher. Do I have a second? By Ms. Cheney. Any discussion? Hearing of none, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Dr. Kepler, Palmyra Pride.
Excellent. Thank you, Mr. Provo. And we have, since we canceled Palmyra Pride back in December due to some inclement weather that evening, we have double the guests tonight. So double the pleasure tonight. First, I haven't seen Maria Fisher here tonight. Maria, if you don't know, is our most recent former food service director, employed through Nutrition Inc. And Maria recently left Nutrition Inc. to accept another job in the county, working with, I think, Christian Ministries in their food service and then expansion work that they're going to be doing there. So she's following her passion of service through her religious beliefs, as well as her love of food service. So she's hard to replace. The certificate we have for Maria it simply says we're recognizing her for her commitment to our students and staff as the district's director of food and nutrition. Maria has worked tirelessly in these challenging times of supply chain issues and staffing shortages to efficiently manage our building's cafeterias, ensuring our students are offered a variety of nutritious foods on a consistent basis. Maria has approached every challenge, and she was a superhero during the pandemic. With such grace, always offering a warm smile to staff and students, she will be missed. There it is, perfect timing. So this lady, when schools closed in March of 20, was here daily in our parking lot delivering meals to kids with staff every day without fail. This lady, during the last 2 years of staff shortages, she's in a hairnet, side by side with her staff, making food, serving food, etc. She just did it all. And frankly, it's probably why she's not here anymore, to be blunt. This lady needs a break and is following two passions in her life, and that's her faith and her service to community along with food service. So, Maria, we can't say enough. On behalf of the board and administration, thanks for being part of our team.
Thank you.
Perfect timing. Over the last couple of years as well, some people, our IT department, they can't all be here tonight, but we have 2 people accepting this recognition on their behalf. But right at that time, Dr. Knudsen stepped from the Director of Instructional Technology and Online Learning into the full Director of Informational Tech seat. Nobody works harder than this lady, nobody. And Mr. Mike Rashid came back to Palmyra right in that time frame to join us as the new Director of Instructional Technology and leading our online learning. And these 2 folks over the last
Christy's online.
Christy's online. Christy Garl is online. Christy is one of the key people in the infrastructure. Somebody you rarely see, but if we don't have, we're in trouble. Things work because of Christy. And members of the team as well, with Daryl, Ray, and
Josh.
Okay, fulfilling that team. So, Mike, come on up. KK, come up for your certificates. Your certificate reads, or you have one certificate for the full group to hang in your office up there. A certificate of recognition is hereby awarded to Palmyra Area School District IT Department under the leadership of Kim Kathy Knudsen and Mike Rashid for their tireless efforts, commitment, and ongoing support of students, families, and staff. So thank you. So when we send students to online learning, their worlds were rocked, and they handled it with grace and precision. This next group, if I can call up our team from the middle school. Are any of our folks here from the middle school? I know this was rescheduled, so they might not have been able to make it. But we have a team of Corinne Carr, Angel Coleman, Katie Urselli, and Sharon Packer. We're thanking them tonight for their swift action during a student's medical emergency. This goes back before the holidays. We had a medical emergency with a student, and the response of our team was tremendous. Their certificate reads that certificate of recognition is hereby awarded to, in the group I mentioned, for your swift action during a student's medical emergency. Student was able to have immediate care, recognized there was a medical issue, worked with our nurse and staff then and the family to get the student to a medical facility to get some help. So come up here, we're not hiding behind the table. So on behalf of the board and administration, the number one thing we do is take care of our kids. That's most important, their safety and well-being. So thank you very much. Will you please, on behalf of all of us, take these back to the whole team? So thank you very much. And the last one, Mr. A, is going to help me. Our team from Northside. If you know anything about golf, if you tee off last on Sunday, it means you're winning the tournament. You're in the lead. So in this case, our students being recognized last, their staff, that means you're the most important recognition of the night. Can our Northside girls on the run, staff and students, come on up front? Mr. A has your certificates. Come on up, guys. Got their medals on tonight.
They deserve it. It was a blustery day.
Going off my script, I think so much of what we do in education doesn't even occur in a classroom. It's not about a book. It's not about reading or math. The most important thing we do is a societal piece of the puzzle where we help raise the children that parents send to us. And part of that is character, hard work, perseverance, teamwork, all of the things you learn by participating in Girls on the Run. Was it easy? Did you work hard? The things that aren't about math or reading that you'll take with you for the rest of your lives, right? And we accomplish those things because of staff who go the extra mile, right? Do those teachers have to participate in Girls on the Run? No, they do it because they care about our students, right? So let me read for you what your certificate's going to say, and then Mr. A is going to give those for you. So your certificate will read, recognition of the Northside Elementary teachers and students for their leadership and determination, striving to live a healthy lifestyle, be a positive role model in society, and letting their star power shine through their participation in the Girls on the Run program. So our staff participating, Liz Bell, Trisha Bruce is not here tonight, I haven't seen her, Courtney Engel, Julie McNear, and Rayanne Miller, and our students. And I know I have Amelia here. Help me, first name? Jessie. And we'll talk more about you guys in a little bit. But the full student body that participated is Renata Collado, Haley Craig, Peyton Craig, Haley Fine, Catherine Hackett, Morgan Jones, Claudia Murray, Leah Oliver, Juliana Puderbaugh, Jessica Rial, Charlotte Serio, Brooke Schellenhammer, Skylie Schweitzer, Lillian Thompson, Abigail Tillett, and Emily Yerke. Congratulations on all of us. Like that one. Your right hand. Shake. Go ahead there. Congratulations. Great job. You brag about that orange Palmyra highlighter.
Thank you so much.
Thanks to our staff for going the extra mile.
was a joy.
Oh, that's true.
No,
Thanks, Mr. Ed.
there were students as well. Yeah.
And as a parting comment, all of our buildings have their own culture. Northside Elementary is a pretty special place. The parents of kids there kind of know this, that it is like a family. And when I say helping families raise their children, that's what Northside's all about. It's a family over there, and they're partnering with parents to really raise good young people. So thank you, parents, for that partnership.
All right, before we move on, I wanted to say thank you to everybody as well. Maria, I know how difficult it was, especially through COVID. Just keeping track of numbers for reimbursement was an absolute monstrous endeavor. So thank you, and IT folks appreciate what you do. Girls on the Run, thank you. My wife coached that for a long time, knowing how fun it is, and I know the benefits of it, so that's really awesome. And then thanks to the middle school staff too. I appreciate it. I'm sure the board does as well. Anybody else? All right. Item 7 is board recognition.
Yeah, it's on behalf of our entire administrative team and staff, it's a chance to say thank you to the 9 of you. You probably wouldn't raise your hand if I said, did you know what you were getting yourself into? With that said, we know the time commitment. What our public sees here on 2 Thursday nights a month pales in comparison to the full time you spend. What they don't see is you reviewing items ahead of meetings, reviewing treasurer's reports, reviewing expenditure documents, reviewing the proposals that are before you. They don't see that you're all assigned to other committees, whether that be driving to Lancaster, right, Marianne, to attend the IU, or going to a rec meeting, or the legislative meeting, or the tax collection meeting. The general populace doesn't know that this commitment is grand. So I will stretch it even to say, on behalf of our entire community, we thank you. Appreciate your the time, the commitment, and frankly, I would say that your cohesiveness, this board in the first year together, has grown by leaps and strides that are making decisions that are balanced and for kids. So there's a small token of appreciation for you, little cookie, cute little cookie in a box that on behalf of the administration. Thank you very much for what you do.
I'm not inclined to move on. I was liking that. Maybe we'll stay on item 7. I don't know if Marie wants to stick around or not. I don't want to feel obligated to stay.
Yeah, no, you don't have to stay.
Thank you.
Take care.
Thank you. President's report. With Josh being online, I'm not sure if we're going to.
Yeah, I don't have anything at this time, Mike. Thanks.
I have nothing to add. That brings us to visitor comments. We have one person signed up, Mr. Clee. Yeah, go ahead. Thank you.
Concerning the application of the concept known as equity to a place like the Palmyra Area School District, I'm not inquiring about information related to that set of legal rules that has developed over the centuries to do justice when money damages could not repay the party to a lawsuit. Rather, I'm requesting that one or more current PASD board directors promptly and clearly reveal to the public the specific authority officially accepted by the PASD board as to the definition of the word equity here in 2023. During the 1960s, interesting changes began to happen within American academia that would in due course impact American K-12 education. Social-emotional learning, or SEL, began in the 1960s. After decades of degradation within American K-12 public education, the Every Student Succeeds Act was signed by President Obama on December the 10th, 2015. As it turned out, ESSA has really helped advance socio-emotional learning, and in that process, ESSA has provided the tools by which a government employee can strongly influence a student by shaping that student's social and emotional learning. The ESSA and its SEL component were crafted to alter the quote-unquote human side of education. Or in other words, they were crafted to emphasize providing children with mindsets that can be better described as student beliefs. Ponder all that. Edward Bernays, the nephew of Sigmund Freud, was quite influential through much of the 20th century in America. In time, he became an outspoken proponent of propaganda for the political and corporate manipulation of we the people. I assume one or more of you have read his fascinating book at controlling how Americans think and act. That is, read his book titled Propaganda. I encourage each of you to read Propaganda, and in that process pay close attention to the chapters Propaganda for Education and Propaganda in Social Service. If you do that, I encourage you to then thoroughly investigate whether the ESSA not only first advanced social-emotional learning, but now also advances transformative social-emotional learning so that K-12 public school district government employees may powerfully manipulate the minds and lives of K-12 children as their parents attempt to develop their worldviews. In 2015, the concept of transformative social-emotional learning was developed to guide K-12 children to, quote, critically examine root causes of inequity and to develop collaborative solutions that lead to personal, community, and societal well-being, unquote. Given Edward Bernays' 20th century belief system as expressed in propaganda and thereafter dispersed into American academia, is it reasonable to characterize transformative social and emotional learning as a vehicle by which to blatantly propagandize K-12 children concerning the concept of equity versus inequity? Concerning the implementation of equity within the Palmyra Area School District, the question that hopefully will be promptly and transparently answered for the public is whether or not the district sees itself as obliged to abolish, quote, equal treatment under the law, unquote, as part of the implementation of equity. Related to this question, as the PASD continues to comply, I assume, with Commonwealth of Pennsylvania and federal demands, is it possible that the PASD's implementation and utilization of equity has already or will soon clash with one or more constitutions or laws within the United States of America? So does the current PASD board really know if the district taxpayers are presently exposed to legal liability concerning the abuse of equity, inequity within the district? If the answer to that question is yes, then will or will not the current board promptly and fully share with the public that information? And if the answer to that question is no, then will or will not the current board promptly and fully ascertain the truth about the extent of the implementation and utilization of equity within the school district since 2016? Thank you for your time and attention.
Thank you, Mr. Clinton. All right, buildings and grounds. Palmyra Area School District Board of Directors held a Buildings and Grounds Committee meeting on January 12th, 2023 in this boardroom following the regular meeting. All board members were present. All administration was present, or most. We discussed the feasibility study and heard a presentation from RLPS Architects. We did a summary review of capital projects that were completed in summer 2022, and we planned for the summer of 2023. There was public comment by Gail Klee and Jerry Klee, and the meeting adjourned at 6:57 p.m. The next meeting of Buildings and Grounds is scheduled for Thursday, February the 9th, 2023, after the regular 6 o'clock board meeting here in the district boardroom and via Zoom. Out of that came the discussion of the feasibility study. And there is a motion, or there will be, I'm asking for a motion to approve the contract with Reese, Lauer, Patrick, and Scott Architects in the amount of $14,900 for that feasibility study.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the contract with Reese, Lower, Patrick, and Scott Architects in the amount of $14,900 for a feasibility study, excuse me.
So we have a motion on the floor by Mrs. Fisher. Do we have a second? Seconded by Mrs. Gilligan. Do we have any discussion on the matter?
I just have a question. How quick are we able to get, I believe as part of the summary or this contract there, if I remember correctly, Dr. Kepper, there's 2 public meetings, or is there more than that or less?
The time frame I have listed there, they'll have engagement sessions that they will seek to find interested stakeholder groups, members of our community that are interested in participating, and they will schedule those. There'll be multiple sessions, not limited to 1 or 2, but they'll meet with stakeholder groups, parents, staff, community, students, board, administration, between the months of February and March. So that gets turned around pretty quickly.
Okay, so is that something that we just open up to everybody, or are we sending like out an email or something that they get a list of people? Or I just want to make sure that the public fully understands, because obviously I know September seems somewhat far away, but it's not far away, and I want to make sure everybody in this community has their opportunity to attend or know about these up front, so that there's no, I mean, I know there will always be, people that disagree, but I just want to try to make sure we have that up front and the parameters for all those that are either invited or how you get invited to those engagement meetings.
We will work with our LPS on that communication out to our community, seeking folks interested in the process. We will send correspondence to all of our families. We will get communication on our website. Ara Hill is here tonight from The Sun. Perhaps she'll mention that in her article. So all of the readers of The Sun will be aware in our community as well. So to look forward to that information or seek. If it's not a family that has students, we can't communicate directly with them through our system, but can direct them to our website where we'll have information available.
Perfect. And you bring up a good point. If we could put something on our website that just says, hey, look, if you do not have a family or you do not have kids, here's who you need to email. Here's who you need to get that information. And other than that, I'm good, ready to vote.
You good, Josh?
Yeah, I'm good.
I'm just further discussion. I would add, I think everybody probably saw that there is a time frame with the completion of September. So if anybody has any,
And that'll be a public presentation here in this room at the September board meeting.
Very good. There being no further discussion, we have a motion by Mrs. Fisher and a second by Mrs. Gilligan. All those in favor to approve the contract with Reeves, Lauer, Patrick, and Scott Architects, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Are there any opposed? The motion carries. And we will now move on to finance.
Thank you very much. The Finance Committee met on January 12th. Joel Kreider, Boyer, and Ritter reviewed the school district's 21-22 audit report. They reviewed that with us in preparation for a motion this evening. Mike Friends reviewed the Act 1 real estate tax resolution, limiting tax increase to a 5.3% for 23-24. He reviewed that with us in preparation for a motion this evening as well. Mike Friends also reviewed a proposed change to the student activity treasure report. Gail Klee asked questions pertaining to the treasurer's report, and Jerry Klee asked questions pertaining to the treasurer's report, use of credit card, and our meeting adjourned at 7:37 p.m. Out of that meeting, I do have a motion. So I would like to make a motion to approve the Finance Committee items as noted on the Finance Consent Agenda.
So we have a motion on the floor by Mrs. Fisher to approve the Finance Committee items as noted on the Finance Consent Agenda. Do I have a second?
Second.
Mrs. Seeley had her hand up first. So we have a motion by Mrs. Fisher and a second by Mrs. Seeley. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
I waited that. Any opposed? Motion carries.
And the next meeting of Finance Committee is scheduled for Thursday, February 9th, after Building and Grounds here in the district office boardroom and via Zoom. That concludes finance for this meeting.
Thank you. That brings us up to staffing and administration. Not sure how we're gonna.
You have to take that first. Okay. So, moving on to staffing and administration. Staffing, bringing up these minutes here. There we go. Committee met on January 12th as well. And the board reviewed the policies listed on the agenda on the screen in preparation of a motion at this evening's board meeting. Dr. Spagnuolo reviewed the proposed high school dance club in preparation of a motion this evening. She also reviewed the proposed high school student-led computer science club in preparation for a motion this evening. Dr. Kepler reviewed a book donation by the Lebanon County Council of Republican Women in preparation for a motion this evening. And the board reviewed proposed 23-24 board calendar dates in preparation for a motion this evening. Dr. Kepler also reviewed an Act 80 Day recommendation preparation for this evening. Jerry Klee asked questions regarding policy approval. And Don Blount commented that additional books would be provided for the middle school regarding to the motion. Which we received tonight. Out of that meeting, we do have a few motions here. First motion that I have is a motion to approve the first reading of the board policies listed on the screen.
So we have a motion on the floor by Mrs. Fisher to approve the first reading of the board policies. We have a second. Second by Alicia. Mrs. Haldeman, I'm sorry. Is there any discussion?
No changes in those policies from your committee review.
Very good. There being no further discussion, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Are any opposed? Motion carries. Next item.
The next item would be involving the consent agenda. Dr. Kepler, would you have any comments?
Sure, I will. Thank you, Mrs. Fisher. I will highlight a few personnel items there before you. A thank you to Mrs. Bell Beeman, grade 4 teacher at Forge. I think just one of my boys, Mr. Kotchin, grade 7 social studies. We thank them for their service to the district as they've submitted their resignations from the district. We have a transfer of a teacher stepping into one of those open slots, but we'll make that transition next year so we don't have multiple moving parts impacting student classes this year. See support staff hires and transfers, support staff resignations that you see listed, some not fulfilling the employment process, the 2 aforementioned clubs, book donation. I will highlight the school board calendar you're approving tonight does include the 3 changes this board asked for on some of those specific dates. So that has been updated. And then just again, the district calendar, that Act 80 Day, is basically you're indicating with that approval that we won't make up the December 23rd snow day. We'll use an Act 80 Day for teacher staff development, which is technically on the calendar Friday, June 9th. That is the consent agenda for staffing and administration.
Okay. So with that, I would like to make a motion to approve the Staffing and Administration Committee items as noted on the Staffing and Administration consent agenda.
So we have a motion on the floor by Christine to approve the staffing and administration committee items as noted on the staffing and administration consent agenda. Do we have a second? A second by Taylor. Any further discussion on that item? There being no further discussion, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Are there any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you for jumping in on that. We will now move on to the superintendent's report.
Thank you, Mr. Koval. So this evening, I will share with you that on Monday night of this week, I had the opportunity to join Serena Topos and her mom at the Rotary meeting to celebrate her being selected as the January Student of the Month. Congratulations to her. College of Charleston awaits her. Also, our fall play, congratulations goes out to the cast, crew, and staff of Kodachrome, this year's fall play at the high school. The cast crew received 3 Apollo nominations. Outstanding play, the first time in our school's history that our play has received a nomination for an Apollo award. We're very accustomed to that for the spring musical, but we're on the board now for play. Lead actress in Carly Marincelli, and supporting actor in David Taylor. So congratulations to that group. Wednesday, December 21st, Mr. Guy, I thank him, listed there for on behalf of the board. He did a welcome message to students. I had the opportunity to speak to students as 76 Palmyra area high school students were inducted into our National Honor Society. These students, the 4 pillars they must meet are character, leadership, scholarship, and service. An impressive group of young people to be before. Our first semester concluded Thursday, January 19th, last week, marks the midpoint of our school year. And this past Monday, the 23rd, students started their second semester courses here at our high school. Also excited to share with you that we are partnering with local first responders and Pennsylvania State Police to host an active shooter training in March. Our local law enforcement officers will be receiving training through the PSBA training model on basically you're the first to arrive on scene of an active shooter situation, and what does that officer do? The training. So we're happy to help PSP provide that training to our local law enforcement who, in the unforeseen, unfortunate event that we hope never happens, that we're prepared locally for. So that'll occur in March on a day that we're not here in this building. Okay. Happy to share, the administration met with McClure officials on the 17th for our natatorium project kickoff, and just 2 dates that I'll share with you. Basically, May 22nd, we start draining the pool. August 24th, it should be operational. That is the goal of that timeline. We reviewed all elements of the project and are excited about that coming to fruition. And then the last thing I'll leave you with tonight is the final touches are being conducted on the security film installation on the main entrances of our 6 buildings, and we thank Eastside Film's work and timely completion of that project. See any blue painter's tape when you came in tonight? That's the final touches of that project right here at our district office. So thank you to Eastside Film and that work helping make our buildings more secure. And then I have some events there for you for February and March. Concludes my report.
Thank you, Dr. Kepler. Student representative.
Good evening. I was not here in December because of the canceled meeting, so I have some stuff to go back to from there. We had our winter concerts, our choir, orchestra, and band concerts, and those all went really well. Great to see our music programs succeeding through what they're doing. Also, like Dr. Kepler said, we had the National Honor Society induction, and I serve as our service project co-coordinator. So it's really great to see all of the service that everyone is doing and contributing to the community, to the school, just all around, seeing all the different activities that everyone is doing, and just for the sole purpose of helping out. And the 76 students as well, really great group of people to be bringing in. And now, past that, through January, we've had a fairly slow January starting. Our semester 1 concluded. It was a really great and eventful semester, as they all are. And our finals week went very quickly. And something that, this is a small piece of Palmyra pride that I always have in our block scheduling. No other schools around us have that. And it's just really great to say to my friends who go to Lower Dolphin, Annville, Hershey, everywhere, oh, I have all these new classes. It's great. And just, I really love our scheduling program and really proud to have that in our districts. And semester 2 has begun with our AP classes going every other day. Lots of students have new schedules, especially our juniors who have never really had sign-outs before. And I know everyone loves that sign-out period to be able to go work on things or just have a little bit of recovery there. But that's going to be a really great semester. And our winter dance will be coming up shortly in February. And it's going to be a little bit different than homecoming and everything we've done before and prom, where it's very formal. We're trying to keep this as open to everyone as possible. No restrictions. It's going to be a free event. It's only for Palmyra high school students, so no outside guests, but we don't want money to be a restraint on anything, or just if it's too formal and someone has to go buy a dress, anything like that. We just come as you are and have a good time, and that's really what we're striving for in this. And then finally, with it being School Board Director Recognition Month, I just wanted to say, as you can tell, I just came from a swim meet. I'm on our swim team, and I will be graduating this year, so I won't be able to experience our new pool, but I know the entire aquatics classes, swim team, coaches are just ecstatic with the new pool that's coming in and are incredibly grateful and thankful for that. So I just want to say thank you. And then I think you.
So I'm sure Dr. Pep would be happy to swim team at some time.
Yeah.
And you do a great presentation. Thank you so much. I appreciate all the updates.
So how did the meet go? Did we win?
We did not. It was, I will say, in my 4 years of being here, it was one of our best swim meets all around from everyone. We went against Hershey, who is very, very good at swimming. Like, just everyone there swimming is their life. And boys, and not that it's not my life, it's their life. And boys, we lost 84 to 86, which is like 60 points, a smaller gap than we thought it would be. Amazing swims from everyone. A+ effort came from every single swimmer. Whether you're winning each event or getting 5th or 6th place, everyone went as hard as they could, and it showed off. And girls had a bit larger of a gap, but still, that didn't stop them. They had the idea, or the knowledge that they might not have won, but that didn't stop them. Everyone still went as hard as they could.
Very good to hear. Thank you.
That's it.
Now, I know some of these committees may have gotten jumbled up a little bit, so bear with me if I make any mistakes or if I call on somebody who's not here. But Lebanon County Career and Technology Center report?
Yes, I'm happy to report out this evening. We've actually met twice since our last report. And so I provided for you at your desk the newsletters for December and for January. And frankly, I'm just beginning to serve on this with our reorg in December, and I have been surprised, in awe, and even overwhelmed with what I've seen in my first few meetings with what our students do there. So I just want to take a minute to highlight some of the things going on there and some of our Palmyra students that are involved. We've received presentations from the students there and other things as well. So in December, one of the highlights are the students of the quarter. That's on the 3rd page. And we have 10 Palmyra students, some of our own, who earned Students of the Quarter at the Career Technology Center in December. So they are listed on that page. And then in January, in the January newsletter, we can see pictures and evidence of students that participated in the farm show. And we had some amazing efforts from our Palmyra students at the farm show in January. I'm not sure if those pictures made it in, but we have a new landscape program, and several of our students participated in the landscape program. And they attended the farm show. So they are Isaiah Huffman and Jacob Nicely. They competed in the log splitter competition. They created and invented their own log splitter. And Isaiah and Jacob, they won 1st place, along with most creative, best presentation, and best video. So that was something I was very proud of when in attending the meetings, and they were there and presented and spoke to their project. We had other farm show winners from Palmyra, and that was Keith Frederick, won third place for Oriental arrangements. Let's see, there was a barbecue themed artificial arrangement by Casey Frederick, and they won second place. So that was exciting, very nice and amazing to see. So I was just very, very proud of our Palmyra students and the success that they've been having at the Career Technical Center. There are two things on the agenda that we've been working on and discussing. One is the auto body program there. Right now, auto body is only a half day program, and they have 18 students in the morning and 18 students in the afternoon. There's discussions right now on a proposal on the table to extend that to a full day program. The concern is that if they extend it to full day, then we lose the 18 students, either morning or afternoon, so enrollment there. But that's under discussion, and that decision will be made in the next few meetings.
Question on that.
Yes.
The reason why we have two is just so we can have 36 kids do it.
I'm not sure if that's the reason.
I can give some direction.
Okay.
Currently, the programs that operate half day, the students go a half day over the course of 2 years. So the morning classes are usually the juniors. They come back to their home high schools in the afternoon. The afternoon are seniors who are in year 2 of the program, who were there in the morning the previous year. So they're looking to switch 2 years of half day program to 1 year of full day.
My only concern is that eliminating 18 kids then?
Yes, that's the concern.
Okay, I have a real concern. I'd rather see it. Actually, I'd rather see them have 2 classes.
I think for 1 year, it will reduce because you'll have the same populace of kids. You'll have 18 kids a year, which is basically what you have now. Currently, you have 18 juniors, 18 seniors. You'll eventually have 18 seniors. So every year, it'll be 18 kids. It won't change. But for 1 year, there's a gap year where a current junior is a kid that could lose in that transition. That they would keep their 18 kids that are there now as juniors for their senior year and not be able to take any current juniors who would be entering that program. Or excuse me, current sophomores. No, it would be sophomores. Current sophomores wouldn't go as a junior, they would wait till their senior year. So there wouldn't be a loss of kids. There would still be 18 kids in any given class with that opportunity. Does that make sense?
I'll keep it posted.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
The only thing I would say about that is that my son did go to a VOTEC at one point, and that was where they had the half day. And he said it was really hard because by the time you get in and you get started, then you're leaving. And to have the whole day to be able to learn something, I think they would have more opportunity to learn more, in that.
Thank you for that. And the other item that we have is that we are beginning to create the committee to hire a new director. So applications, that window has been closed and we're beginning that process. So keep you all up to date on that as we move forward. That concludes my report.
Parks and Rec?
Thank you. We met January 18th at 6 p.m. and we had election of officers, and the officers remain the same as last year. It hasn't changed. We discussed summer camp. The dates for summer camp this year are going to be June 12th through August 11th. Will be held at Pine Street Elementary. Currently, in January, we already have 17 students signed up for camp, and they're hoping it'll be, I think, 155 slots to fill, and already doing interviews for staff for camp. So, and our next meeting is scheduled for February 15th at 6 p.m.
Very good. That camp's a popular program. IU13 report.
Okay, we had a meeting and the Instructional Services and Technology Services Committee approved 3 contracts. With the regular meeting, they honored Mr. Christian Skip Breckville Jr. for 29 and a half years of service. And so now they're going to rename the board meeting room after him. So just something to honor him for his time of service. They also, all the board members were presented with a book with our name in it, and this will be put in the library when recommendation of Director. We approved the minutes for the December 14th meeting, reports from the committees. And the April meeting is going to be at the IU building instead of on Cumberland because of the problem they had there with the border. And then they did comment on the on-site wellness center and the impact that it's had on IU 13 and how the people there are very appreciative because they're getting better health services faster. So that was it.
Thank you. Next up is the Cougar Foundation report. I'll throw some stuff out there, but if you would like to add or stop me at any point, or just add to it, I'm done. But we had a Cougar Foundation Board of Trustee meeting on January the 11th, 2023 at 6 o'clock in his boardroom. There was a discussion of some prior grants that were issued, first grade seasonal learning apps, equine assisted therapeutic and educational services, essential for living, and some IXL. We had 6 new grant requests, and there was that probably took up the bulk of the meeting. There was really good stuff. Mrs. Hoover gave a presentation on supporting the structured literacy shift, and this is the stuff that Dr. Kepler may be able to add if anybody has any questions. There was 2 7th grade biodiversity project requests, some sensory room requests for emotional support, and Secret Stories app, some technology requests. And I believe all 6 were approved. There was some discussion on updating social media, and in new business, there were some bylaw changes that were discussed, some fundraising updates. I know we're still doing the magnets and the stickers. We have a vacant trustee position, and we set a date for the family dance. I don't have the date off the top of my head.
May 13th.
May 13th. And our next Board of Trustees meeting will be in April of 2023. I have nothing further on the Cougar Foundation. Dr. Kepler, do you have anything you'd like to add?
Well done, sir. Nothing there.
All right. Palmyra Public Library report.
And there were actually 2 meetings in January. There was the regular library meeting on the 17th, and then there was the Phoenix Center meeting on the 23rd. I had a conflict for the 17th, and therefore I missed that one. Comment coming out of the people that were there was it was the shortest meeting they had in 7 years, which also happens to be my 10-year-long meeting. I'm sure it did. Okay, the Phoenix Center, however, we did have a very interesting meeting there. We're back in the swing of things again. Numbers are beginning to increase. Pre-pandemic, we had 35, 40 kids there. Right now we're in the teens, but a lot of those kids are special needs. It's the kind of thing where when it hasn't functioned for 2 years, everybody has to get back into the realization that it's there and you have to feel comfortable, and it's happening. United Way, we got notification from United Way as far as funding is concerned. The final funding requirements have to be submitted by the 31st of January. We're ready to go on that. It cost almost $50,000 to run the Phoenix Center. And a lot of that comes from the United Way.
I do want to put out a little bit of something for Palm Lutheran. Palm Lutheran supplies the building, and Palm Lutheran does receive rent that takes care of the heating, the cooling, water, and everything else. But Palm Lutheran takes half of the money that they receive and puts it back into the Phoenix Center as a social ministry calling. I think it's very important. So everything's going well. We're getting ready to set up for the summer program, which includes the reading program and also the tutoring. So we've seen things coming out from there. So that's it. Thank you very much.
Very busy. Thank you. County Tax Collection Committee report. I think that's Mrs. Braden. So we will move on to Lebanon County Legislative Region report. Nothing to report. And I'm not aware of any other reports. We'll move on to communications. There is one. There was an email that was received. It's up on the board. That concludes communications. The last item, and I'll seek a motion for adjournment.
Okay.
Motion by Mrs. Fisher to adjourn. Do we have a second? By Mrs. Haldeman. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Meeting's adjourned.
Recording stopped.
For about 10 seconds to remove into committee. Thank you. Good job. It sounded good. I know it was a lot. Thank you. That was a great job. Yeah. Did they?
I think it's, I was like, here at home and going to and beat them. So then,
Well, they had a pretty good night.
I think it was because that year they lost a lot of their super swimmer. And graduated.
I'm excited for the new gig, but it's going to be next year. All right. Might as well jump right into Finance Committee. No?
Curriculum and SNA night.
Oh. No, that's the minutes from the last one. I apologize. Curriculum then.
And we're going to turn this into the Dr. Spagnola.
Okay. Actually, the Palmyra area school district student. But I'm going to first start with our Spotlight on Learning. This was our presentation we were sharing in December. Our first is our Title I Family Night, occurred on December 13th. Our theme was Walk in the Literary Wonderland. We had many stations organized around Lingo Elementary School to work with students in K-2 and 3-5. In addition, at each station, there were parent information. Students got to take the materials home to do the activities. We had over 60 families attend that event, which is a huge celebration. Next slide just shows a couple of the different stations that occurred. It also shows you the Lingo Avenue Elementary School Library prior to the pipe bursting. The lower right-hand column or corner. Another thing we wanted to highlight was our elementary professional development, and we have Mr. Appelfist here as well if he wants to share anything. But coming off of a couple years of COVID with our professional development being minimal just because of the time that we didn't have. We're focusing this year on best practices. Topics are student engagement, learning, illicit and use of evidence for student thinking, use of data, incorporating student questioning and discussion. So our teachers are having many sessions of PD throughout the year. And they have scheduled 4, and I believe they've completed 3 of the 4, and we're just getting ready to start working on dates. I believe you just did the dates the other day for February and March for the 4th one.
Middle school, highlight Mrs. Hines' 6th grade class with her learning support. She took her kids outside, did some problem solving outside on the chalk. She also had students at Halloween time make monster mystery stories, which would then be created into an iMovie trailer. Again, in the middle school, our emotional support and life skills class, they do daily affirmations every morning to talk about how important they are to start their day. Life skills classes build employment skills while giving back to the community. They work at the Caring Cupboard, and they also work at the Jubilee Ministries. Our middle school Cougars Coffee Corner, again, this is our life skills class once a month. They provide a morning coffee shop day where students, teachers can come in and order coffee, bagels, pancakes, things like that, and the students are able to make the information or make the food and then deliver it. They also work on completing what it takes to get paid for doing their work. And then in our life skills class, part of that payment includes the rent they have to pay for their desk and their classroom. And when all of their rent, when they have paid all of their dues, then they can use the extra money at the school. Kids love it. Our high school cafe, just to go with it, this is something our high school students do weekly. Our high school students, which we have a few, I'm not sure how many participate, but even us at the district office will go up on a regular occasion and get coffee, hot chocolate, and goodies from our life skills students at the high school. They create the menus, they make the items, and they also do the math and the counting. But they actually are in charge of all of the ordering, and they are at the counters doing all the work. So that's pretty cool to see as well. That concludes my monthly Spotlight on Learning. The next session, you are in for a huge treat. This evening, we have some students in the back of the room. We have Amelia Kerr and Carmen McConaughey. Haley had to leave. But we also have Mrs. Stroh up here. She is the teacher of broadcast journalism. And these are the students that organized and created our Veterans Day video that we weren't able to show in December because we had the weather. So sit back and enjoy our video. And then when that is over, we can, if you have any questions or things you want to share with our students.
Veterans Day is one day of the year that we get to maybe take a moment and think about all those who have served and all those who have served come before us, that have made the ultimate sacrifice, and then the sacrifices of spending time away from their loved ones and spending time away from home.
Each speaker was able to share their experiences to touch the students and inspire them.
Education is important because it gives that people an opportunity to understand how much service people give for their country. They're willing to leave their families for extended periods of time, which is really hard.
And it's important to know this so we can all be thankful for like what they have done and like to give us all the things that we have today.
Veterans help protect our country and keep it safe, even though it was dangerous. They are very brave and courageous. Veterans are heroes, and we honor them this holiday.
I'm thankful for the work that they've done for my country. Veterans Day means to me that we get to honor all the people who served and worked hard for the freedom of our country.
Thank you for your service!
Half empty, half full. Depends on your attitude. And so even when things aren't so good, everything seems sort of half empty, how you approach that makes a difference in how things are going to turn out for you in your life.
Fought for our country to help keep us safe and free. Many people fly the American flag on Veterans Day to show their support for veterans. The event
Veterans are brave, strong, and heroic. Thank you for protecting your country. I love you.
You say something? Keep that in your mind. For everyone doesn't know what to do. See her contemplating right now? Right there? Thinking deeply in thought. She's like, what can I do? Saying thank you isn't quite enough for how I feel. What am I going to do? It was just a little white table, but I looked at it all dinner long. And in the quiet inside me, I could almost hear the silent soldiers of the empty chair, hear them saying, remember us, please.
Thank you for your service.
Hello, thank you for your service. Thank you for all your service. Thank you for your service.
Thank you for your service. Thank you for your service. Thank you for your service. Thank you for your service. Thank you for serving. Thank you for serving. Thank you for serving. Thank you for serving. Thank you for your service. Thank you for your service. Thank you for serving. Thank you for serving. Thank you for serving and keeping us safe. Doing what you do. Make sure we have the right to live the way we choose. Someone had to sacrifice, risk their own to save a life. Thank you for doing what you do. What you do. What you do. What you do.
share anything? This thing was, I mean, it was a lot of fun for us. Me and Carmen and Katie as well. We were able to go around to a bunch of different schools and had a lot of help, as you can see on the board. And everyone was able to go out and, I don't know, interact with the younger kids, and it was just a good experience. Yeah, the team works collectively. We go to all of the to all the different schools.
We have to coordinate all that and the timing and who's going to get what and bring back all that footage and talk about how are we going to put that all together. Neely did a great job. She's the one who produced this video, and she worked many hours on perfecting it, putting it together exactly how she wanted it to be. So I'm glad she could share that with you tonight. Great job.
Okay, there were a few oops in the, but that we could not show that were also entertaining. Very honest, very, very honest younger children.
I think 2 years ago, this district made a change and we decided to have school on Veterans Day. And this is why. The majority, I can't say that for a fact, but I think the majority of kids that were home on Veterans Day had no idea why they were home. Every kid that comes to school knows what Veterans Day is about because of this type of programming, and spend the day wearing red, white, and blue, just taking pride in who we are as a country and thanking our veterans. So kudos to our staff, K-12, that are involved, and kudos and thank you for putting the video.
You guys did a wonderful job. Really awesome one. Thank you.
Sounds good. My next and last presentation I'd like to share is our School Counseling 339 plan. This is a plan that we have to redo every 3 years. It's part of the comprehensive plan, kind of goes on that same cycle. So what this is our school counseling. It is attached 89 pages of work that they've done that I've compiled into just a few slides. So if you're interested in looking at the whole thing, you are more than welcome to. But our school counselors have many roles.
So is my laptop.
Sorry.
There we go.
They're leaders in their buildings for the school-wide positive behavior team. It's not going.
I'm struggling.
Okay.
There we go.
Our staff team, student assistance team, our students of concerns meeting. They're also advocates for our students. They provide resources for our families and our students, and they're also collaborators. They do a lot of work with our community agencies and our businesses to strengthen our program. Our mission as a K-12 school counseling is that we have a comprehensive developmental counseling program addressing the academic, career, and personal social development of all students. Counselors are school advocates who provide support to maximize student potential and academic achievement in partnership with all stakeholders. School counselors facilitate and support systems to ensure all students in the district have access to and are prepared with knowledge and skills to contribute at the highest level as productive members of society. Program delivery, our K-8 school counselors, they do have curriculum that they work with in the classroom. They also provide responsive support. They have peer helper programs. They help parents and teachers at parent-teacher conferences. They organize a lot of our state testing. They're also involved in any crisis response that may be needed. They also do some individual academic and career counseling. They do a lot of class assignments working with students of what students need to be separated, put together. The transitions between kindergarten and first grade, 5th and 6th grade, and 9th and 10th grade are a huge part. And also, 12th to our college and career ready. Our counselors play an integral part of all of those transitions. And then the support systems. We have the holiday help around the holidays where we provide for our needy families. They have back to school presentations. We have a fall and spring advisory board that they share with our community. They arrange college visits. The kids visit the CTC. They provide financial aid help. They set up all of our SAT and our AP testing. Curriculum action plans, lessons are taught kindergarten through 5th grade. They do introductory lessons, a lot of like social, friendship, bullying type lessons, how to problem solve different things, how they feel, what their feelings are. Career awareness is a big one for our counselors, and also 21st century skills. We talk about career awareness. We're not just talking about high school. We start at the very young age of the 1st and 2nd, but really 3rd grade, they start to talk about what you enjoy doing, what's something you might want to do when you get older. So there's a lot of that starts at our elementary. And then our grades 6 to 8. They continue with career connections, career exploration, stress management, test taking strategies, study skills, things like that. Time management. Each student has a career portfolio that begins in 3rd grade. That is also something that we have to share with the state every year at the end of 5th, 8th, and 11th grade. We have to have so many artifacts showing that we're providing our students with different opportunities and sharing different careers that are out there. We start with career fairs, interest inventories. There's a STEM summit in 9th grade where all 9th graders have a day where they go around to different STEM type activities. During the career acquisition stage, we do a lot of job interviews, resume writing, cover letter building. There's things to support our students. Then we get to career retention, like what are some goal setting? What's your problem solving, conflict resolutions, things like that don't just happen in school settings, but they happen in the real world, and how will you handle those things? And then the entrepreneurship, like what do you want to do when you go out? There's jobs right now that don't exist of what our 3rd through 8th, 9th graders
they have. So what are some different career plans and traits? And then also look at like some financial planning for them. They're also really big with our stakeholder engagements. When we look at counselors, we don't just look at they're working with students. They work with our families. They work with teachers. They provide a lot of professional development to our teachers to work with students that might be having issues at home or academic issues, behavioral issues. Our parents are a huge part of our stakeholder engagement, as is our business and community and our post-secondary college, trade schools, workforce. Our counselors do a lot of trying to get students jobs at the high school if they're not interested in going to college or going to a trade. That's completely okay. What are you interested in? And can we get you some internships and things like that? So that pretty much is our plan in a nutshell. The 89 pages go into like what they do month by month.
Thank you.
Could you just review for us the number of counselors that you filled in the district?
We have one school counselor at each building in the elementary, 3 at the middle school, 1 for each grade level, and 4 at the high school, 1 for each grade level. However, they split it into alphabet A through H's so that they follow the kids the whole way through, as do our middle school counselors. They start, 6th grade, they'll go with them to 7th grade, 8th grade, then they'll start with a new group in 6th grade.
I really appreciate this presentation because there's so much more that goes along to the title of this school counselor. They hold in different directions every day for so many different things. And so really appreciate, honoring them and the work that they do as well. Thank you.
And part of this plan before I submit it to the state is that I do need to get it board approved. So at our next meeting, there will be a motion for approval of the plan. And I did attach it. Should anybody want to read the 89 page? You're welcome.
Yes, thank you.
That concludes the curriculum. Oh, public comment, sorry.
No, that's
that concludes my presentation.
Yes. I have Mr. and Mrs. Clee signed up to speak at committee meeting. Okay, and I have Mr. Kleinfelder. And I have Mrs. Braden, not for committee, but I didn't know if that was checking the block.
I think she left.
Okay, moving right along. We will move into the Staffing and Administration Committee open session. I think I'll just pass this one right off to Dr. Kepler for a health and safety plan review.
You bet. We are required every 6 months to review the health and safety plan. So this is the health and safety plan we entered this year with. It is what is on our publicly accessible website. There are no changes. We don't have the board approve it. We have to simply present you the opportunity in this public forum as a board to say any questions, anything you want to change. And if not, we continue, we post it, we reviewed it, and we move on. This is a requirement federally because we've accepted stimulus dollars. Requirement is review. Any questions?
No, I'm good. That said, we'll once again ask for any public comment.
Excuse me, I have a question on this different topic. Is it possible to release the agendas for the board meetings prior to the 24-hour requirement?
We are working until the cusp of that time. Literally before the end of the day, Wednesday, we are finalizing. So move that forward is pretty challenging for us. So we're meeting that requirement, and I don't think we have that ability.
Do we have any further public comment? I think That's all we had signed up. So that would conclude staffing and administration. Is there a third committee?
That's it for today.
I'm disappointed. I'm not sure where to go.
Because you're not normally in the know. Statement to announce our going into a closed session regarding the.
Yes. Since we have concluded our committee meetings, the board will now move into executive session to discuss some legal and personnel matters. Thank you.